everybody, welcome back to the channel. You're with Dean Fowle again. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel if you find any of my content interesting, or if you're learning from it. If you have any questions, right, just like and subscribe. Right, so this brings us into our second video in radquote. Right, so what I want to do is create a video. Over the weekend you would have seen a video on how to create and add bending operations to a DXF. So now I'm going to do a manual quote. So somebody calls me up on the phone or sends me a piece of paper through a fax with a hand sketch drawing. I can simply, how do I quote that with the DXF and all that other sort of stuff, right? Do I have to create a 3D file to quote it? No, you don't. You know, we can create a manual part. So you can see I'm in radquote here. The other day we just dragged and dropped the DXF file. Today we're actually going to do a manual part. So if I click on this is a manual part, right? So being a manual part, it's not going to be exactly like the part you want to, right? So if you're looking for a manual part to put me a hole equally spaced at each corner for a base plate, that's not what the manual part does. The manual part here will create a square plate and add 4 holes to it so I can get the run time from the machine, alright, and nesting and that. So we're going to go ahead, and there's 2 ways to do it. I'm actually going to come in and I'm going to create a box. This is one of my favorite ones because if you've been around and you've done a lot of box making in your time, you know, this I like a lot because I can simply click on that and say, okay, I need to create a box. Let's say John calls me up and says, hey Dean, I need a box. It needs to be this by this by this by this. And I said, alright, let me go ahead and manually do this. So let's put some sides in here and say he wants a 1-inch flange, and we'll equal that. So the 1-inch flange will be the same, and he say, hey, this box needs to be about 30 by 30. Okay, so I'm going to go 30 inches, right, and then I'm going to equal that. So now it's 30 by 30. Down here you can see a bit of a preview of what our box looks like, right? So you can add more, or maybe you just want to make a channel like that and do what have you that way, right? But here, and I'm going to say, look, my box needs to be about 10, right? So we'll do that side, we'll do that side. I can leave them straight, but I'm actually going to put on a flange here and a flange on that one. And you can see the box has got a miter in here, and you can select different options of how you want this to end up on the finish. I usually go this way, and away we go. So we need to do this here. I'm going to do 1 inch, so I'm just going to go equals, right, 1 inch. Then I'm going to hit OK. So now I can come in here and say John's box 001, and we can give it a material CRS 060. You can see it's got 8 bends in there, and then I can hit save. Right, so I'm going to save that, and it's going to add it down in this list here, right? So there's John's box. So now I can double click that, and it's going to add it into radquote. And John said, look, I need 5 of these, right? So I'm going to go, give me 5 of these, right? And let's go ahead and add an operation, right? Because we want to weld up our box. So hit the welding. Okay, MIG, TIG. I'd like to do MIG, TIG and stick, right? At the moment I'm just showing MIG and TIG. So I'd probably do TIG welding. We'll go medium, and then we'll work out how the length in inches, a bit of light sanding maybe. Welding time, let's say 8.00. Actually, let's go 10. Tooling cost, let's say $4.50, and hit there. Right, now I can come in and I can calculate that. And there's 5 boxes with welding, all the bend operations added to it. That's how you manually create a part. Okay, so now I can quote that, we're all good to go, and everybody's happy. So let me go ahead and we'll create another. I'll close this down. No, close. Right, so launch radquote again. I'm just closing it so I can take you through the steps of opening it and go navigating through to make a manual quote. Give me a second here. Excuse me. So mine's taking a minute to open up because I've got a lot of stuff connected to my database. So I'm going to pick a customer, right, and hit OK. And then here we're ready to start quoting. I'm going to do a manual part. This time I'm going to do a bit of a different manual part. I'm actually going to do a square. I'm going to do some base plates, so 10 by 10 base plates. Buh. Right. I'm going to have 4 holes in them. You can do different shapes. I'm going to have 4 bolt holes, and we're going to do 0.75, and there's going to be 4 of those in there. And then we're going to put base plate 10 inch, and then we'll select material. Right, don't worry about the thickness, I'm just using what I use comfortably. I've got no bends, right, because it's just a flat part. And then we'll save that. Save that base plate. Alright, so here's our base plate. You can actually see in here I got 4 holes, right, because it's just calculating the time. This isn't going to be a drawing, right, because once you've quoted it and the customer accepts your quote, you're going to send that to engineering and they're going to do all that work, right? So click on that and we'll add this into our quote. Okay, we've got our material, we've got our laser, and depending if I need some sanding or grinding, yep, that'll be fine. That way we can clean up the edges of our base plate. Hit calculate, and I only had 1 in there, sorry, but yeah, you can change the quantity to 5 base plates, 10 base plates, whatever quantity. But that's basically how you add operations, right? So then again, in our next video we'll do a quote adding different types of purchase parts and hardware, okay? And then we'll also show you how to show the images, right? So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit like, subscribe to my channel so you stay up with some of the latest videos. And remember, this is Dean with HubSpot is my YouTube channel, Engineers HubSpot, but I work for Hexagon and I represent the RADAN products of manufacturing, anywhere from ERP software, quoting software, down to running your CAD for CAM. Alright, so stick around, stay tuned, and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.